everybody. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm Julie Thompson. I'm the principal at Beaver Brook, and I'd like to thank you all for coming today to our kindergarten veterans program. But I would like to extend a special thank you on behalf of Beaver Brook to our veterans for your service and for joining us for this special program today. This is always a great event. We have double the number of veterans than we've had in the past. It's wonderful. And one thing to note, we'll make an announcement at the end as well. This year we're going to do dismissal at the end of the day out back on the playground if you're interested in taking your student home, because we're so close to the end of the day. So you would just go out to the recess, to the playground to take your student home, unless you've made a call to the office otherwise. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the kindergarten teachers, I would like to welcome all our veterans and guests here to our program here at Beaver Brook. My name is Annie Fedrick, and I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here at Beaver Brook, and this is Mrs. Walkup, who's also a kindergarten teacher, and we have here Mrs. Hoyt's class is over there, Mrs. McGuire, Miss Trudeau, Miss Park, and Mrs. Colley, all here to honor our veterans. And we're up on the stage now because we have so many veterans that we couldn't fit ourselves down on the bottom. Almost 20 years ago now, I can't believe it, Mrs. Fitch, who was unable to be here today, and I came up with the idea for this program so that our students would have a better understanding of Veterans Day and what it's all about. All of the kindergarteners here have been learning patriotic songs and helped to create these poems on the stage to honor our veterans today. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
A couple housekeeping announcements. We encourage you to take pictures during the program. At the end, families with veterans will have a few minutes to take pictures of their student and veteran. Then all students will be returning to our classrooms. Before we begin, we would like to have a moment of silence to honor the men and women currently serving in the armed forces who could not be here today. Thank you. And now I would like all of the kindergarten classes to stand to sing on Veterans Day. Okay, kindergartners, watch me. And now we ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Our flag is right on the stage. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I would like now to begin to introduce each of the honored guests. As I introduce each veteran, the children will be presenting them with a special medal around their neck and some flowers. After we practiced yesterday, we made some adjustments to the order, so I'm going in the order of the program, but we're not going to go right down the line, just so you know. So if the veteran could please just quickly stand up as tall as you're comfortable, just to give everyone a heads up. Our first veteran today is Mr. David Borzanian. He served 8 years in the United States Army, and his daughter, Ellie Creighton, will be giving him his medal and flowers today. I would like to welcome Mr. Bill Flynn. Mr. Flynn served in the United States Navy from 1964 to 67, and his granddaughter, Anna Roach, will be giving her Buppa his medal and flowers today. Mr. Peter Kariuki served 5 years in the United States Navy, and his niece, Elmira Gathoni, will be presenting him with his medal and flowers today. I'd like to welcome Mr. Jason Marcella, who served 4 years in the Air Force, and his son Joshua will be giving him his flowers and medal today. Welcome to Mr. Robert Monty. He served 2 years in the Army, and Max Monty, his grandson, will give him his medal. And welcome Ms. Jessica McSherry. She served 8 years in the United States Army, and her daughter, Georgia, is going to be giving her flowers today.
And I now ask now Hannah Nigro and Shay Gillen, please stand. They will read their class poem, Brave.
We love dead soldiers, resilient men and women, America's heroes, valuable and invaluable. Every day we thank you.
And now we ask Ms. Trudeau's and Mrs. Colley's class to please stand. They will be singing America to Me.
Great job, boys and girls. I would like to welcome some more veterans. Oh, it's too quiet now. It's too loud. I'm sorry. Please welcome Mr. Juan Palma. He served 17 years in the United States Army, and his nephew, Tomas Montenegro, will give him his medal and flowers today. Please welcome John Ricard. He served from 1998 to 91 in the Persian Gulf and from 1991 to 1996 in the Navy Reserves. His grandson, Grant Donahue, and he'll be giving his papa his flowers and medal today. Please welcome Mr. Edward Flaherty, who served in the United States Air Force 4 years. And his granddaughter, Skylar Chapin, will be giving her pappy, his flowers and medal today. Please welcome Mr. Timothy Hoodcroft. He has served 22 years in the National Guard. His daughter, Phoenix, will be giving her dad his flower and medal today.
Now, Daly Jackson and Sophia Goncalves, please stand. And they will read their class poem, Freedom.
Foreign near, red, white, and blue. Excellent, oh, hated by heroes. Dads and moms, outside and inside. Military.
I will now ask Mrs. Fitch's and Mrs. Walkup's classes to please stand. They will be singing 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue.
We'd like to welcome Mr. Stephen Vinal. He has served 8 years in the United States Air Force. His grandson, Hunter Yeaton, will be giving him his medal and flower today. We would like to welcome Mr. Michael Armstrong, who also served 8 years, but in the United States Army. And his nephew, Robbie Armstrong, will be giving his uncle his flower and medal today. We'd like to welcome Mr. Bill DeLuca, who served 7 years in the Coast Guard, and his grandson, Liam Rushton, is going to be honoring him today. We'd like to welcome Ms. Lee Ranstrom. She served 7 years in the Air Force, and her great niece, Layla Swayze, will be giving her her flowers and medal today. We'd like to welcome Mr. Nick Rizzo, who served 4 years in the United States Marines, and his nephew, Aiden Ash, will be honoring him today with his medal and flowers.
Now, Luis Barboza and Mateo Suarez, please stand. And they will be reading their class poem, Liberty.
Loyal, inspirational, brave, endless, respect, true. You are our heroes.
I will now ask Mrs. Hoyt's and Mrs. McGuire's classes to please stand. They will be singing This Land is Your Land.
Great job, boys and girls. Our next veteran to be honored today is Mr. Glenn LaPointe, who served in the United States Marines. He has 2 grandchildren in kindergarten this year, Julian Almian and Everly Torpy. So he gets 2 medals and 2 things of flowers today. Please welcome Mr. Justin Simmons, who served 4 years in the United States Marines, and his son Cameron Simmons will be honoring his dad today and giving him his flowers and medal. Please welcome Mr. Paul Mabey, who served 19 years in the United States Army, and his son Colton Mabey will be providing him with his medal and flowers today. Please welcome Ms. Nicole McKean, who served from 2011 to 2019 in the National Guard. Her nephew, Christian Pisanelli, will be giving her his medal and flowers today. Welcome Mr. Rich Dakotas, who served 5 years in the United States Army, and his grandson, Frank Dakotas, is going to give his papa his medal and flowers.
Now, Tomas Montenegro and Brody Carroll, please stand. They will read their class poem, Veteran. Turn and face the other. There we go. Very strong.
Very strong. Everybody's hero. Takes care of us. Extraordinary. Really keeps us free. American. Never gives up.
I will now ask Mrs. Fredericks and Mrs. Parks' class to please stand. They will be singing You're a Grand Old Flag.
please welcome Mr. John Goggin, who served 8 years in the United States Army, and his son, Nathan Goggin, will be giving his dad his flowers and medal today. Please welcome Mr. Michael Golden, who served 6 years in the Army Reserves, and his niece, Gabrielle Engelhart, will be giving her uncle his medal and flowers. Please welcome Mr. Matt Menz, 8 years in the United States Army, and his daughter Kelsey will be giving her dad flowers and a medal today. Please welcome Mr. Jake Walsh, who served 3 years in the Army, and his son, John Walsh, will be giving him flowers and medals to honor his dad. Please welcome Mr. Alan Annis, who served 6 years in the Army, and his family friend, Jacqueline Waters, is going to honor her friend today. Please welcome Mr. John Murray, who served from 2002 to 2006 in the Army, and his son Gus is going to be honoring him today. And welcome Miss Hannah Schwab. She served 5 years in the Coast Guard, and her niece Emerald O'Day is going to honor her auntie today. And our last veteran for today is Mr. Alex Waitner, who served 13 years in the Air Force, and his daughter Lily is going to honor her today. And just before I forget, to the veterans, you have a name tag on your chair. Please feel free to take that along with your flowers and your medal home today as a souvenir.
We can't thank you enough, or our special guests enough, for joining us today so that we may honor you. The students have read books and learned a great deal about veterans and the holiday we will all celebrate tomorrow and Saturday. But to have you all here today makes it very real for our young students. Honoring you today makes a somewhat abstract concept of patriotism and service to our country real for them. Knowing that veterans are people in their own family who have done amazing things to protect our freedom and keep us safe makes the whole learning experience just that much more meaningful for them. I do hope the memory of this day sticks with them as they grow up and develop their own feelings of patriotism and appreciation for those who protect our country. Thank you.
So kids, if you want to give your veteran one big hug, and then if you'll all, veterans and children, stay in place just so families can take a quick picture, and then I'm going to pass the microphone back. No, I'm going to pass it to you.